Have you ever noticed that the older you get, the more home stops feeling like four walls and starts feeling like a heartbeat, a quiet pulse that only you can hear? It's strange because the world keeps getting louder, faster, more chaotic. Yet somehow, the soft stillness inside your home becomes the one place that feels real, the one place that actually feels like you. Most people never question this shift. Most people don't even see it happening. But the ones who do, the ones who feel their spirit calm the moment the door clicks shut, those people share a very specific psychological pattern. And once you understand it, you won't see yourself the same way again. If you've ever wondered why you feel more alive in your own space than anywhere else, if your home feels less like a location and more like a sanctuary, a mirror, or even a secret world, then stay with me. Because what you're about to learn might explain something about you that no one has ever put into words. Before we begin, if these words feel like home to you, subscribe. This space is made for minds like yours. Now, let's begin. There's a certain kind of quiet that only exists when you're home. Not the quiet of emptiness, not the quiet of boredom, but the quiet that feels like safety. It's in the distant hum of the refrigerator, the soft tick of a clock, the way the air feels still but alive. It's in the gentle slowing of your own heartbeat when you step inside. And in that moment, you realize that for once, nobody needs you to be anywhere else. The world stops pulling, stops tugging, stops demanding, and you finally get to just exist. People who are happiest at home know this feeling better than anyone, but they're often misunderstood. Others look at them and assume they're antisocial, uninterested, withdrawn, or afraid of the world. But homebodies aren't afraid, they're aware. They feel the world more intensely than most. They absorb it all. The noise, the energy, the expectations, the unspoken weight in every room. It's not sensitivity in the fragile sense, it's sensitivity in the deep sense. The kind that notices too much, feels too much, cares too much. So home becomes not a retreat from life, but a return to themselves. Somewhere along the way, life outside became too loud, too fast, too demanding, and the nervous system does what it must. It searches for balance. Bright lights, loud conversations, crowded places, they don't just stimulate homebodies, they flood them. And so the quiet of home isn't avoidance, it's regulation. It's where the mind whispers, "Here, I can breathe here." And maybe this began long before adulthood. Maybe it started in childhood classrooms where the noise was too much, on school buses where the laughter felt too sharp, in crowded lunchrooms where fitting in felt like a performance. Maybe they were the child who lived more inside their imagination than in reality. Maybe they found refuge in drawing, reading, daydreaming. Maybe they learned early that the world outside demanded a version of themselves they didn't naturally know how to be. For some, childhood wasn't dangerous, but it was overwhelming. So they built an inner world instead, a soft world, a world with room to feel, room to imagine, room to exist without being judged. They found safety not in people, but in spaces, corners of rooms, quiet hallways, their own bed at night. And when they grew older, home became the physical version of that inner world. Not four walls, not furniture, but a sanctuary, the one place where the mask dissolves. Because out there, beyond the door, everyone wears a version of themselves. The I'm fine version, the polite version, the louder, brighter, more edited version. But at home, that performance ends, and what remains is the raw, unfiltered, unpolished self, the version that doesn't need to impress or entertain or prove anything, the version that simply exists. And it's strange how someone can spend all day surrounded by others and still feel unseen. Yet the moment they sit alone by a window, with a warm drink and a quiet room, they finally feel visible to themselves. That's the magic of solitude. It isn't isolation, it's intimacy with your own soul. A rare intimacy, one the world often rushes past. We live in a world that romanticizes being everywhere, doing everything, showing everything. A world that praises the loud, the fast, the constantly visible. A world that treats stillness like laziness and silence like something suspicious. But the people who are happiest at home understand a truth the rest of the world misses. Fulfillment isn't always found in noise. Sometimes it's found in the pauses. There's an old saying, if you don't go within, you go without. For people who love being home, going within isn't hiding, it's alignment. It's where emotions settle, where thoughts untangle, where the mind finally makes sense of itself. Going within is how they recover from overstimulation, how they rebuild clarity, how they rediscover what's true for them. Think about it: when you're constantly surrounded by people, you become a different version of yourself for each audience. Your identity fragments. You adjust your tone, your reactions, your posture, your energy. But at home, you are the only audience that matters. And that kind of honesty is rare. It's the kind of honesty that only surfaces in quiet rooms and soft evenings. Of course, there's a line between solitude and withdrawal. Even the quietest souls need connection. But here's the paradox. People who love staying at home often have deeper relationships, not fewer. They don't waste energy on superficial bonds. They crave the kind of connection where silence is comfortable, where presence matters more than performance, where being together doesn't require constant conversation, where someone's soul speaks louder than their words. These people have a gift. They listen differently. They feel differently. Their empathy runs deep, but empathy is heavy. They pick up emotions the way others pick up objects. They see tension in micro-expressions. They sense discomfort in tone. They notice the unspoken. They feel what others try to hide. And that depth is beautiful, but exhausting. So they return home, not to hide from the world, but to recover from it. Here's something psychology consistently finds. People who intentionally spend time alone tend to score higher in creativity, emotional intelligence, and originality. It's not because they're smarter, it's because they're more reflective. Stillness gives the mind enough space to process life instead of rushing through it. Creativity blooms in silence. Ideas gather in stillness. Emotional healing happens when the noise stops long enough for your heart to speak. Think about your own clarity. Your biggest realizations probably didn't happen in a crowded room. They happened at home, late at night, in the shower, on quiet walks, during slow moments when your mind was finally able to speak. That's the hidden power of people who are happiest at home. When the world gets quiet, their mind gets honest. But even homebodies carry a secret guilt. A guilt planted by a world that glorifies visibility. A world obsessed with posting, sharing, performing. A world where, if you're not out, you're falling behind. And so, the person who finds peace at home sometimes wonders if they're doing something wrong. The world tells them that life is happening elsewhere, that youth is out there, opportunity is out there, meaning is out there. But the truth is this: the highlight reel of other people's lives is not the full story. Everyone is chasing peace. Some just find it differently. There's something ancient about needing a space to retreat, a place to reset. Monks had temples, hermits had caves, philosophers had quiet corners. Today, people find that stillness in their bedrooms, their living rooms, their small apartments filled with plants and soft lights. Home becomes the modern version of a sacred space, a place to step out of survival mode, a place to feel again. And here's the psychology behind why it feels so comforting. When you're home, your brain enters a low-threat state. Your cortisol drops, your muscles loosen, your breathing deepens, your guard lowers, and in safety, emotions rise, emotions you didn't have time to feel during the day. That's why home is the place where people cry the most, dream the most, awaken the most. It's the first place we let our guard down. It's where healing happens quietly. It's where emotions finally catch up to us. But not everyone understands this. Some will say things like, "You need to get out more," or "You're wasting your youth." What they don't realize is that staying home doesn't mean doing nothing. Growth can be silent. Healing can be slow. Self-understanding can happen without anyone noticing. Quiet progress is still progress. Reading, reflecting, journaling, thinking, recharging. These are all forms of progress, even if they don't photograph well. These are the moments that create emotional strength. These are the moments that build self-awareness. These are the moments that shape the inner world. And people who love staying home aren't avoiding the world. They're preparing for it. They're rebuilding their energy. They're grounding themselves. And when they do step out, they bring calm instead of chaos. They bring presence instead of panic. They bring depth instead of noise. There's a psychological comfort in routine that homebodies understand deeply. The brain loves predictability, it feels safe in it. The rituals of home-making coffee, lighting a candle, tidying a corner, opening a window, these aren't chores, they're signals. Each one tells the nervous system, you're okay, you're allowed to rest now. These small rituals become anchors in an unstable world, and in a world that worships productivity, that kind of rest feels almost rebellious, but it's necessary, because the world doesn't need more frantic people, it needs more grounded ones. People who are happiest at home develop a rich inner world. They notice things others overlook, the way sunlight moves across a wall, the sound of distant laughter, the texture of calm air. They find beauty in details because they actually slow down enough to see them. They don't rush through the world, they observe it. They feel its subtleties. Some people fear silence. Homebodies crave it. Silence isn't empty to them, it's full of meaning, full of clarity, full of the parts of themselves they can't hear when the world gets loud. Silence is not a void, it's a mirror, and in it, they finally see themselves honestly. And sometimes, the reason someone loves home is simple. They feel life too deeply. Every conversation, every room, every shift in energy leaves an imprint. Their heart collects impressions the way others collect souvenirs. So when the world becomes too much, they don't run away, they protect their peace. But there's another side too, one many never admit out loud. Some people love staying home not because they're peaceful, but because they're tired. Tired of misunderstanding. Tired of pretending. Tired of being everything to everyone. Tired of being the strong one, the reliable one, the emotionally stable one. For them, home is a place where the weight finally falls off, where they don't have to perform strength, where they're allowed to be human. This isn't avoidance, it's recovery. It's what psychologists call emotional decompression, the moment the body finally releases everything it held inside. The moment the exhaustion you ignored all day finally surfaces. The moment you sit down and feel the truth of how tired you actually are. Home is where the truth comes up. Home is where the body exhales what the world forced it to hold. And once you experience the comfort of being enough inside your own walls, you stop chasing validation outside them. You stop measuring your worth by your visibility. You stop believing your value is tied to how often you go out. You stop performing for approval. Eventually, something profound happens. You stop apologizing for who you are. You stop feeling guilty for choosing quiet. You stop believing that your worth is measured by how busy you look. You realize that choosing peace is not failure, it's wisdom. Because you realize something the world rarely tells you. People who are happiest at home aren't missing out on life. They're living it differently. Softly. Slowly. Deeply. Intentionally. Honoring the pace that feels true to their soul. And maybe that's why, when they finally step out into the world, they carry something rare. A calm energy. A quiet strength, a grounded presence. They don't add to the noise. They bring the silence that everyone else is secretly searching for. They become the soft place in a hard world, the stillness in a restless society. So if you're someone who's happiest at home, don't let anyone tell you that you're doing life wrong. You're not falling behind. You're not missing out. You're simply living at the rhythm that brings you peace. And peace is not a weakness. It's one of the strongest things you can carry. It takes courage to honor your own energy. It takes strength to choose what feels right for you. And if you want more videos like this, videos that feel like a conversation with your own soul, make sure you subscribe. This space is for you, a place where your quiet is understood, your softness is valued, and your inner world is welcome. Here, your peace is not judged, it's honored. Because at the end of the day, you were never just staying home. You were coming home to yourself.